That's my lightning round, where I take a topic and I give you a quick hit and quick take on it. All truthful from my perspective, of course, but I'm right. I'm William Del Pilar, your conservative Latino. Oh man, I was just doing another podcast. I told them my favorite Latino words, "ese." I stole that from the Mexicans when I learned it when I came here. I never heard it as a Puerto Rican Panamanian prior to coming here, and I said, "Is that what y'all call yourselves?" You go, "Yeah, it's a slang term." That was years ago. Who knows what it means now, or if they even use it anymore. Anyway, let's get back on down to the rude rundown. Rundown numero uno. Cable news rating reveals a shift in viewer preferences. Not really. That was what the title I came up with. But after thinking about it, not really. It's a snapshot of March 5th. But there was a little bit of news. Fox News again dominated, but the five surpassed 5 million viewers. Now, you need to understand, for cable news, that's like 20 million watching a highlighted episode of Seinfeld on NBC. I mean, that's what that 5 million means. MSNBC and CNN, they obviously always trailed. It's a Fox News surge. See, and this is the reason I want to compare it. 5 million total viewers there. Rachel Maddow, 2.1 million. Anderson Cooper. Figures weren't available at the time. But the point is, 2.1 million is Maddow. That's their best show at the prime time of 9 p.m. 8 p.m. I think is no 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is the 5. So they're just destroying MSNBC's best show. It just shows how strong they are in viewership. The Maddow is its top performer, 2.1 million, and they both lead behind. There comes a point where something has to happen. For Comcast, they've done it. They're spinning MSNBC off, and something's going to have to happen with Rachel Maddow's contract of $25 million to do one show a week. Once that spins off and they're on their own, that contract will immediately change. I wouldn't be surprised if they're negotiating something now. But her Maddow, she doesn't need this. She doesn't want it. That's why she's doing one show a week. She wants to be part of the pop culture and getting her word out there, but she doesn't really want to work it. So I think she'll take a buyout, do some specials here or there, and retire. Nobody's watching her anyway. CNN just got a completely clean house, and they won't. And my whole point is Fox is still dominating. Kudos to the 5 for surpassing 5 million. And here's the other thing is they are literally doubling MSNBC and CNN in the demographics. Around 300,000 you'll see for Fox. Then you'll see like 120,000. Once you hit 100,000, that's a death knell. Meaning that's when advertisers go, whoa, why are we advertising on here? So there's some serious work to be done in that demo as well. In fact, let me pull up. This is the rundown. So the point overall is that these leftist networks like MSNBC, CNN, they realize there's no market for news caught in constant lies. Or I'm sorry, until they realize there's no market for news caught in constant lies, and they're constantly caught. Case in point, CNN, Jake Tapper. He was throwing people off there. Laura Trump just threw her off the air in the segment. Goodbye. When she brought up Joe's dementia. And what happens? Jake Tapper getting ready to release a book. The Inside Story. Biden's dementia. They just lie and they lie and they lie. Anderson Cooper. Nicole Wallace. I hope that poor 13-year-old doesn't have to deal with getting shot at or something on the Capitol. It's like, just enjoy the fact that a 13-year-old cancer survivor was made an honorary Secret Service member and enjoy the moment. Instead, she makes it politics. People are tired of this. Joy the Racist Read was canceled. Nobody was watching her until they realize this. They're going to continue to struggle. They both networks, CNN and MSNBC, need a complete reboot. They need to ditch the bias anchors and progressive hacks, i.e. the reporters, for balanced Republicans and Democrats who don't push socialist authoritarianism bent on shredding the Constitution. And you can have both and just have a fierce show of back and forth that's moderated really well. People will tune in. I do plan on having an episode on what these two networks need to do to completely clean house and become relevant again from a business standpoint. I'm just a junkie in that. The rude rundown number 2, Microsoft's initial stance and NewsGuard ties. Okay, look. Microsoft tangled. They went toe-to-toe with Ted Cruz and lost. They promised to cut ties, but are still cozying up the NewsGuard. NewsGuard is a leftist promoting news source. I figured we'd dig into this. It's not making the big heavy news, but this is important for you guys because this shapes our thoughts and our processes. So Microsoft told Cruz that it's disavowing its affiliation with NewsGuard. And NewsGuard is a censorship group. They censor the news. And what they do, they only spit out leftist news. They go, we do the work for you. Yeah, by censoring conservative views and spitting out leftist views. I mean, supposedly, technically, I got to say allegedly, but it's all true. Cruz announced this February 6th. And what are we in? March 9th, a month later. And they're still supporting it. So this relationship runs deep. They've been promoting this software for years, including a recommendation on its Educator Center last month. So this is terrible. Terrible. NewsGuard is a leftist. You need to contact Ted Cruz's office, tell him, hey, what the hell's happening? Push Ted Cruz to follow up on this. And its track record has been documented. They give the Federalist a 12.5% score. And that's a paper that backs everything up and does journalism properly. One that actually does the news as it should. It's conservative, but they back everything up. There's no one who can pick at the Federalist and go, that's not true, when they back it all up. You can't say that about the Beast or whatever it's called, or Newsweek or others that they promote. So in essence, Microsoft disavow looks more like a half step, saying one thing to Cruz, but keeping NewsGuard in play until someone calls them out, and that's what needs to happen. Tell me your take on this flip-flop. And while you're at it, tell me your take on the news. What does MSNBC and CNN need to do to catch up? The rundown number 3, Hamilton cancellation at Kennedy Center fuels political divide. Okay, Lin-Manuel Miranda, un idiota estúpido puta, and the producers of Hamilton have canceled performances at the Kennedy Center in protest of the Trump administration's replacement of its leadership. Richard Grenell is in-house. Richard Grenell, who's helped free our hostages. He's done more for America than Miranda has ever done. But anyway, this is spotlighting a growing rift between progressive elites and conservative shifts in cultural institutions. And I don't care. Neither does the public. You know, the cancellation is framed as a stand against perceived political bias. Really, it's been a political pure leftist. When you're allowed to piss on the cross or put things like that, but heaven forbid you can't touch anything progressive, who's actually creating the bias? It's Democrats. This is actually a self-inflicted wound. Rather than engaging and echoing a broader progressive view in public, they refuse. I'm not gonna play. Look, the truth of this is nothing but Democrat hate. The data shows Trump has helped minorities in the country more than any Hamilton actor, more than Obama, more than Biden, more than Bush ever did. In fact, all Bush did was bring death and war. And Obama helped continue it. And Trump shut it down. And obviously more than the Democrat Party. This is the Hamilton cast and its main actor, Manuel Miranda, trying to be relevant, making themselves play the activist do-gooder. But in reality, they're just creating more hate, which is all they're good at and all they're full of. They're vile, hateful bigots, and some are racist. And they would see America subjugate Anglos and in some rare cases, heterosexuals. This is terrible and a disgrace and an embarrassment to what the country is supposed to represent. We welcome and love everybody. But does that mean I want you teaching transgenderism to a 6-7-year-old kid? No. Do I buy into you? They're adult enough to make their own decisions. Then they turn around and tell us, those kids, what are they doing there? They're too young to be making these decisions about what fiscal responsibility is. You see? Hypocrites. Again, a terrible and a disgraceful part of America that we don't need. Leftists like Manuel Miranda, un idiota estúpido. I'm not going to say the other word. Rundown number 4. Oh, God, another one. Where's my producer? Where's my intro? What are you giving me, man? James Taylor's recent take on Facebook shows another elitist entertainer on their knees for Volodymyr Zelensky, dictator at large for the Ukrainian country. So in a March 2025 Facebook post titled, Thoughts on Ukraine. I'm sorry, I'm playing his part and I'm still trying to think. James Taylor breaks his usual apolitical stance, which is a crock. He is very political, to lament the U.S. reversal of support for Ukraine against Putin's invasion. Again, he's lying. Zelensky said, when Trump said, look, you're not going to survive with us. That's what Putin said. That's what Putin said. I would last 2 weeks. Trump says, okay, I'm going to pull out my stuff and see how long you last. No, please, President Trump, don't pull anything. Because, they can't win the war without us. Trump is trying to prevent more deaths. If this becomes the forever war that Zelensky wants, that the Europeans want, that James Taylor's too stupid to realize he's fighting for, you're going to have hundreds of thousands more deaths. You're going to have a Ukraine without anybody to reproduce, without a country to stand. Seems like the Europeans are good for that. Seems like the Democrats are good for that. What is it, man? What is it? Population control? Either way, they have suffered some serious casualties, which no one wants. But Zelensky is responsible for. He said, we don't need you. He said that in so many words at the Oval Office. Well, it's being shown that he does. Anyway, Taylor, like a little vajayjay, defends Ukraine's resistance. Zelensky is a hero for locking up those priests, for burning those books, for allowing people to die in jail, for kidnapping, conscripting the young and the old. He is a hero. How could the U.S. abandon such a hero dictator? Oops, cock. He accuses Putin, Trump, and Musk of conspiring as terrorists. He's too stupid to realize geopolitics and the history of what's happened, how NATO has encroached since the 1990s when they promised Russia, we will not encroach, and they encroach. And for those of you guys who say, well, so what? So what is this is ramifications? We are not going to go to war with Russia, a nuclear power. Europe doesn't have a pot to piss in terms of armaments, weapons, or even manpower. He laments America's shift from a cradle of liberty to a nation that stabs its champions in the back. We're not stabbing any champion in the back. For you to call him a champion shows how disgusting of a pig you are. James Taylor's no stranger to groveling for Democrats. He jetted out to France to croon James Taylor after Kerry beckoned for the Paris climate talks. I need you to sing about the climate gases. Yeah, does that include China and India? No. Oh, are they going to pay into the climate fund? No, we're actually paying them. Freaking moron. He said nothing but a clueless progressive pig with Trump hating TDS gone wild. James Taylor gone wild. $9.99. Call 1-800. You see James Taylor flashing that bald spot. He's just another Hollywood loser cheering Ukraine from his cushy mansion while taxpayers foot the bill and the entertainment industry crumbles under their bigotry. Rundown number 5, David Schwimmer confronts Hollywood silence on anti-Semitism. Look, David Schwimmer's, he's famed from Friends. He passionately addressed the surge in anti-Semitism at a recent conference. ADL, they're not anybody's friends. They are very, very bigoted themselves. If it's not Jewish, they want to throw you under the bus. And I love the Jewish people. The Jewish people love me. How can they not love William de Pilar, the conservative Latino? But my point is, ADL is nothing but a lobbyist group. They have siphoned off millions and millions of dollars that could have gone to programs here, just to the sheer power of the lobby effort. But that said, they came into existence because everybody seems to hate them. And that's what Schwimmer is not aged well neither. Poor guy. Anyway. So he's trying to create a call for action. It was the Anti-Defamation League's Never Is Now conference. He urged Jewish Hollywood figures who won't say a word because they're scared to upset the Palestinian supporters. But he does acknowledge that there are some private efforts, but he needs them to come forward, he says. The personal toll of speaking out, including threats and abandonments by presumed allies, is what that results in by not speaking out. And he says, my career privilege obligates me to use my voice against bigotry and violence. Actually, that's good. I'm teasing him because privilege. I'm tired of hearing about privilege. But he urges others to simply express their support for Jewish friends without needing to resolve broader geopolitical conflicts. So in essence, say something but don't do anything. Typical Hollywood. The Democrats and progressives' apparent tolerance of anti-Semitism reflects an alarming acceptance of bigotry that demands swift, severe repercussions, akin to those for anti-black racism. In other words, we need to destroy the anti-Semites as we destroyed racism towards black. And people, contrary to what the bigots tell you, racism from white America towards blacks is literally non-existent. If it wasn't from 2012 to 2016, I want to say 2018, right around there were 400 race hoaxes, and another one just got exposed a few weeks ago. If racism was so bad, why do they need to make up racism? Anyway, I'm digressing. Schwimmer's right that unchecked hate on campuses, lacking consequences, is only going to escalate this dangerous trend, and it needs to end. And President Trump is doing something about it. Rundown 6. Harry Potter fans divided over a Papa Essedu's casting as Severus Snape. So, the rumor casting of British actor Papa Essedu as Severus Snape in HBO's upcoming Harry Potter. I don't know if I pronounced those right. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I know this is big news, and my niece was like, you got to cover this. So, there's a Harry Potter TV series that was announced this past March, approaching him, and it's ignited a firestorm debate, challenging expectations set by J.K. Rowling's book descriptions and Alan Rickman's iconic portrayal. So what people are saying is a mismatch. What blacks say of whites, it's cultural appropriation. So that's what some whites are saying. No, please, not another DEI, not cultural appropriation, not that. So you're running the gamut for everything here. They're saying, and it's based off his appearance, because I guess she's very detailed when she talks about the appearance of these people. Pale skin, greasy black hair, and a hooked nose. If I wasn't, wow, that sounds very stereotypical of how people denigrate Jews. JK, a little bit of anti-Semitism? I don't know. You just see that, I'm like, whoa. But anyway, the fans are saying that's horrible casting and blackwashing, with some pleading for Rowling to intervene. Look, she's overseeing this. So I'm sure they consulted her. I don't know, but I would imagine. Supposedly she's involved in this. So while Backlash dominates, some defend Essedu's talent and theatrical background, noting his age aligns closer to the book Snape than Rickman's. Well, Rickman's dead. They wanted Adam Driver, who would have been perfect for the role. Visually, he aligned with what is described. And, I'm not going to watch this, but here's what can happen. He come in, he can blow the top off the roof and win people over. We'll see. I guess overall, my problem with this is you have an actor casting a role on the surface that he doesn't fit. And in today's affirmative action world or DEI world, many, including Black and Latinos, will question why make this out of the norm higher? Meaning, I as a Latino go, yeah, that's not how he's supposed to be, then why do it? I know why. I mean, he doesn't fit the book's description. And minorities, I have cousins that are some of the worst at accusations of cultural appropriation. I'm like, really? And you're wearing those denims I bought you that are American made? Yeah, come on, think again. If he pulls it off, all this will be forgotten. But if he doesn't, well, it's going to be another black mark for minorities. As a Latino, what bothers me is every time a minority is elevated, now it's affirmative action or DEI. And there's legit reasons for giving that question or asking. The only way we don't do it is we get rid of that and we hire on merit. And then we punish those who don't hire on merit. And yes, J.K. Rowling is overseeing this project, so it has her blessings. So you fans can complain all you want, but this is what it is. I don't care. I'm not a fan of the series. It was just after my time as a child, and I'm not one of these geeks, nerds with no life that's going to read Harry Potter. Oh, my God. I'm a damn old man. Rundown number 7. Amazon's James Bond TV spinoffs. Ooh, this would be good and bad. Creative control shift sparks controversy. For all of you that don't know, Amazon has taken over creative control. They call the shots now with the Bond franchise. Their recent acquisition of the full creative control over the James Bond franchise from producers Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, and that was finalized with a $1 billion deal. These people are old. They want to go retire now. And that's opened the door to proposed TV spinoff, like Miss Moneypenny and Felix Leiter. I can see Felix. That's about it right now. Q, the adventures of Q and his, I could see a web series, a short series, based off Q and the experiment. I view Q kind of like the Minions. So before the deal, Amazon did pitch off multiple spin-off ideas, including the Money Penny series, a lighter show, and even a female 007 project. And they were all rejected. And they prioritized theatrical films over streaming expansions. And that's something James Bond cannot afford to be diluted. He's they these movies cost way too much off their stupidity, and the profit margin slim to none there. And you start diluting the product, and then you start pissing people off with bull crap. It's going to hurt the main movie. So they're going to have a real problem there, and they're probably going to screw it up before somebody realizes. But at the end of the day, you can go anywhere with this. And Amazon, who pushes a woke DEI agenda, see rings of power, and is willing to bastardize and destroy anything or anyone's original work, will do that indeed. And that's how the world's moving. And despite some of its series that are woke and DEI not hitting the mark they feel they could, they don't care. In other words, they don't care that they're putting out woke garbage. Again, see rings of power. Let's hope this goes away of Fallout, which has massive issues, but is well done, entertaining, and it's faithful in its look and premise. Versus Rings of the Power, a clear money grab that was nothing more than to a weak wokeism who they thought would flock to it, but it's the conservative nerds who love their mythology, love it down to a detail, meaning don't change crap. And on top of that, they had a DEI for it. I think this is going to be a hit or miss series or situation. Rundown number 8, Sam Bankman-Fried faces solitary confinement after unauthorized interview. So for those of you who aren't aware, Sam Bankman is the former CEO of FTX. He was placed in solitary confinement. He's in prison for 25 years for screwing people out of billions. He's in the same place with Diddy. In fact, he knows Diddy. He's talked to Diddy. But he had an unapproved interview with Tucker Carlson. And that brought up the issue of prison regulations and potential motives. The prison said, look, it violated strict Bureau of Prison rules on inmate communication. It led to his immediate transfer to solitary confinement. Now, why did this happen? The interview where SBF expressed cautious optimism about Trump's influence on crypto, but he hinted more at Republican connections, doubled down on his pardon odds that Polymarket's giving, because his family's trying to leverage Trump's transactional approach. What does Trump get out of it if he gets clemency? Here's the problem. He's trying to make claim that he's actually more of a conservative. He's dealt more with Republicans, and he appealed that to Tucker Carlson. And all this conservatism is nothing but opportunism. Why? Because he's done nothing but fund Democrats, amass wealth, also through deceit. And now he's caught and whining. He deserves the language in prison for exploiting trust and aiding in authoritarian agendas. Number 9, tragic end for Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. It's a tale of isolation and disease. So there, we all know the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. And that was discovered in late February, in their Santa Fe home. Poor, I'm really sad for the deceased pet dog. And it was a heartbreaking story. But there were natural causes compounded by isolationism and illness. And that's what New Mexico is saying. So Betsy Arakawa, 65, was his caregiver. He was 95. She succumbed to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. And that's a rare and often fatal respiratory illness. And it's transmitted through rodent contact. Odds are they had mice somewhere. And she died right around February 11th. And she, again, the sole caregiver. And her death unnoticed for days because they were not reclusive, but they were on their own. And Gene Hackman, 95, he died about a week later from hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease exacerbated by advanced Alzheimer's. He didn't know what to do. They probably didn't realize where he was at. It was like literally a 2-year-old toddler mentally. And that left him unaware of his wife's passing. I mean, like a 2-year-old child would be standing over the parent, not realizing they're dead. He was probably a lot like that at this point. He had a lot of his dementia was really deep into its process. This is crazy how it transpired and sad. It makes logical sense though. Rest in peace, Gene. You made us laugh, angered us, and made some of us cry based off your roles. But you are a testament to an old Hollywood belief that we want to remember you for acting and making us feel versus today's actors who we know more for their celebrity gossip than actual art and entertainment. God bless you as you begin your new journey, and your wife too. All right, let's close it out with my favorite comics. I no longer collect comics. I stopped collecting comics in 1993. I made a decision. I needed money when I left the military. So, wow. 38 years now since I bought a comic book. And I used to have a massive collection. So, Diamond Comics bankruptcy, it signals a seismic shift in comics industry. So, what does this mean? Diamond Comics is a distributor. And they were the dominant. It wasn't technically a monopoly by definition, but it was a monopoly in reality. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And that's really changing how the industry works. They once had market dominance, a monopoly, but it waned. And then DC and Marvel and Image severe ties post 2020 pandemic because they kept saying they couldn't deliver this, couldn't deliver that. There were disruptions. They said, enough. We got to find somebody who can. They became omnipotent. I always forget how to pronounce it. Hold on one second. I got to figure this out. Now you got me pissed. Omnipotence. They got big heads, in other words, and they couldn't deal with that anymore. So they left them, and then everything after COVID kind of went to hell because they exposed themselves with vulnerabilities from late shipments and a shrinking direct market because the internet was destroying the once very profitable print business of comic books. It has major impact on small publishers. So this bankruptcy threatens smaller studios that are relying on Diamond's distribution network. So because of delays, revenue, and reduced visibility, not only to Diamond when they do this and losing faith with the major players, the smaller market studios don't have the opportunity to generate the revenue they need to keep going. They can't survive like the DCs and the Marvels who can take a hit here or there. The smaller studios can't. So Lunar and Penguin and Random House, they're taking over. And this has nothing to do but Diamond's ignorance. My overall take on this is the internet flipped comics upside down. They're mirroring newspapers' decline. Diamond's collapse is a gut punch to those who cherish physical pages. The print days are numbered. Comics will go fully digital one day. Obviously, that will tank the collecting scene too. They'll figure out a way to make it work, but there's something about holding that print in your hand. It's already done this for albums. So again, smaller studios will suffer from this distribution chaos and cash delays. And while the big two weather the storm, this is doing nothing but hammering another nail into the print coffin, as in newspaper print, magazine print, comic print.
Hey everybody, this is Big John from Grumblings Media, and I just want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our efforts here at Grumblings Media, just smash the subscribe button right here, totally free, or just go ahead and consume more of our great content. Click either one of these two boxes.